what we're going to do now is her tuck up in her rib cage. And you'll see that I haven't really done the front of the back leg or the back of the front leg yet. I like to do all this kind of in one sweep. And this is the important part. What you can do, if you want to find where to place your tuck up on an average dog, you find the rib cage. And you want to find the very last rib, which hers is right here. And I usually take my hand or my finger and I make a little mark with my fingers so I can visually see where I'm going to set the shortest point of my tuck up. I just take my scissors, and this is going to go almost right up to her skin. It's going to be very tight because most Bichons are a little bit short on legs, so we're going to give them height and lift them off the floor by making the underline very tight. So hers is going to come up right to her skin. And then the rest of our underline is going to be very tight, and it's going to be very moderate to almost straight. You don't want to have a poodle tuck up. It should be very subtle, not extreme or exaggerated. Sometimes with her, I even take a clipper blade, like a 7F, and I just clip her entire chest and her belly, just to get it short and do it quick. But you can do the same thing with shears. And you want to make sure that her chest, this underline here, meets her elbow. It shouldn't hang below. It's a very common mistake to make, to leave too much hair on the underside of the Bichon. And on a short-legged dog, it just really doesn't help them any. I'm lifting her leg forward so I can get this hair up between her front legs. I'm not cutting anything in the armpit or the elbow. I'm just continuation of the underline between her front legs, making sure it's nice and short. And you can see just by taking that off, all of a sudden she got tall. And it's not the dog, because if you saw this dog wet, you would be shocked. She is not a very cute dog wet. She has kind of a short neck, she's got short little legs, she's got a big, long, fat body. But with this hair, we're really changing what the eye sees and making her something very elegant. And so now we have our underline set, and you can see we have this little piece of hair sticking out in our tuck up. And it's very tempting just to go in and cut that off. But what I'm going to do is I'm going to take my comb and I'm going to drag it up through the leg, the stifle, and into this tuck up. I want to pull every little hair in there that's hiding and pull it out. And then I'm going to do what I call the windshield wiper. I put the base of my shear, probably where the screw is, and I'm going to set that right in that notch that I made for the tuck up. And I'm just going to go back and forth, almost like a little windshield wiper, and clean off the hair in an arc like this. I'm not digging in, I'm just smoothing it out. We don't want to see a waistline. When we look above the Bichon, we should see straight lines. So I'm not going to dig in and make a waist. And just by doing this little windshield wiper motion back and forth, it helps smooth the stifle up through the tuck up into the rib cage. And from there, I'll go ahead and neaten up the front of the leg. Now we want to see not a straight line from tuck up to toe, but a slightly rounded to give the hint and suggestion of a knee. So we're just going to take off the very tips. You don't have to take off a lot. And bring it right into the toe. And keep combing it up and out. This is where hair likes to hide. And just smooth this line. And I'm going to go ahead and trim a little bit down here too. As you're working, sometimes you'll see little hair sticking out in places you've already trimmed. Just going to keep dragging the hair up, checking my tuck up and underline, making sure there's no stray hairs. From there, we're going to go ahead and finish scissoring the rib cage. We've already scissored our top line. We've scissored our underline. Now we're just going to round out the rib cage. We got to be very careful not to make the dog slab-sided. So I talked about making a flat tabletop here, and now we're just going to round off the corners and round around the rib cage. And actually, usually at this point, I switch to a longer curve. This is an 8.5 curve. And I'm being very careful right here not to dig into this crest hair that we've left, because we're going to need that later. I'm going to drag up the back of the foreleg, and we can almost do like the little windshield wiper thing right here too. If you are having problems with elbow hair sticking out or having that separation, sometimes you'll see it where you can see like a separated elbow and it's not very pretty. You should just have the rib kind of flow into the shoulder and into the elbow. You don't really want to see a separation. So same idea as a tuck up, we're just kind of rotating the shear down like this and smoothing off anything that's coming over our line. And again, I always drag the hair up on this dog because it's going to want to fall. But by dragging it up, you're going to pull out any little bumps or imperfections or wads of hair that you might have missed.